Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the Alchemic, and today I have a discussion on some little concept that I think Konami could introduce, but it would be a little difficult to, and it's actually been inspired because I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone, and recently in Hearthstone, there's really a lot of, one of the concepts of Hearthstone is called a secret, which is basically like a trap card in Yu-Gi-Oh!, except that it's automatically triggered rather than you having to activate it. So, there's a card I'm going to put right on the screen. It's called Mirror Entity, and it's basically when your opponent summons a minion, or monster basically in Yu-Gi-Oh!, you get to get a copy of it. So, I thought that was just an interesting concept that Konami could introduce to Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it just couldn't really work. So I like the idea of doing that, where your opponent is committing resources to give you something, and you being that trap activates immediately, you have to just either get lucky and have them not read that the trap is there, or they're actually skillfully playing around with it, giving you like a one cost or one of the really weaker of their cards that they're going to be putting out there. So obviously, you know, there's ways to play around it, but I just thought that it would be really cool to put in Yu-Gi-Oh! But like I said, there are some cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That have a similar effect. There's a card, I believe, Cloning, which is basically when your opponent summons a monster, it summons a token with the exact same stats, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure there's other cards. I don't remember them, but I might put a couple here. The only reason why we can't do that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a real-life card game, and the problem with that is that Hearthstone being online, they can do a lot of things that they can't do in real life. For example, they can spawn copies of cards. So, like, let's just say your opponent's playing Burning Abyss, and you have some sort of trap that copies your opponent's monster. If your opponent goes for a tour guide into like a graph or something, and then overlays for the Dante, and when that Dante is summoned, let's say your little trap activates, and you get a copy of their Dante. And what would have been really cool is that you'd be able to get the Xyz materials, and the monster still has the same effect. So it's sort of similar to that idea, but it's just that, like, the problem is that if it were to, you know, you can't just take cards from your opponent's extra deck, and just because you know you're playing against Burning Abyss does not mean you're gonna prepare a deck like that contains cards from the Burning Abyss deck, so that you can create your own Dante after your trap is activated. So I guess this concept being cards from nowhere, that's just kind of the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Being that you can't just pull cards from nowhere, and Hearthstone you can, because cards are coming, you know, it's on an online game, so it's actually possible to just pull them out of nowhere because it's not a physical card that you have to run around and take around with you, because it's always going to be safe on those servers. Another thing about that is that you can actually, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Being a physical card game, you can't really hack it. I mean, there's ways to cheat, but you can't hack it. So, like, just knowing that you're not able to do this thing, and it's just really weird. I just think it would be really awesome if we could introduce something that was that would just sort of copy what your opponent has, because it sort of makes them skillfully play around a trap card that would force your opponent to that would force your opponent to play around it, because you know it's auto cast. So stuff like Doom Caliber Knight, where it's an automatic effect where you don't really get to control it, but your opponent knows they have to play around it, and they know when it's going to trigger. It's sort of like that, but, like, you know, the concept of Hearthstone secrets is that it's a secret. There's many different secrets in that that are the same cost for the class, and then you have to feel like, okay, I'm gonna make a read. I'm gonna throw down this card and see what happens. If the secret gets triggered, then it can't be this. If secret does get triggered, well then, good thing you baited it out. So I just think that was an interesting card, an interesting concept, because we don't have too many like automatic plays. So stuff like, you know, like I said, Doom Caliber Knight. If we had more cards like Doom Caliber Knight where things automatically trigger and then you have to play around them, that would be more interesting and make the game a little more, I guess, take a little more skill. But yeah, so like, I just think that would be really cool to have and it would be introduce a little more skill into the game. Because I know the thing is, we do have trap cards, and trap cards are basically our versions of secrets, where you know you get to choose when the card activates, and it takes and I guess having the control over when that gets set off also changed the balance of the game. But you know, that's just my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I just thought it would be an interesting concept to share with you. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.